Hi everybody, thanks for tuning into our webinar today. We will be getting up and running shortly, however we just wanted to allow those extra participants who are struggling with some of the technical difficulties a few moments longer just to connect and to make sure that their volume and everything else is working perfectly. So we will be starting in just a few moments. Thank you. All right, we will get underway now. Hi, my name is Ken Zudema. I'm here at UBC and I work as part of the Faculty of Applied Science. Today we're here to discuss the Masters of Engineering Leadership, Integrated Water Management Engineering. And I am joined by Dr. Ziad Shawwash, former co-director and current instructor in the program, as well as current student Dan Z. We will be turning to them to discuss a number of the different elements of the course, as well as the student experience. However, today we are joined by students from all over the world, from China, Indonesia, the US, and also domestically here in Canada. This is a live interactive session, so we do encourage you to get involved. Please jump on into the comments section below and ask your questions, and we will attempt to answer them as quickly as possible. However, if for some reason we don't get to your question, please be assured that we will be responding to all queries post the end of this event. But what I'd like to do now is pass over to Dr. Ziad just to give us a brief overview of the program.
Hi everybody, my name is Ziad Shawwash. I'm a professor in civil engineering and I've been at UBC since '93. I did my graduate studies here and then I liked it so much I stayed along. The Integrated Water Management program, it's really a unique program. If you look worldwide, it's one of the unique programs that combines both technical and management skills. So when you go through the program, you'll get exposed to different technical backgrounds in water resource engineering, on both the chemical side, chemical biological, and also on the civil side, on how to manage these resources. But it's not just that. It's also it's a program that will equip you with the right skills to manage organizations and people dealing with the water resource sector. And in that sense, it's a unique program. I've been involved in the water sector for many years. I worked for 12 years in government positions, and since 2000, I've been working doing research for BC Hydro. This is the utility that generates electricity in British Columbia. And from my experience, I found that technical people, they tend to isolate themselves in corners or in their in their own space, and they are finding, they found that it's very difficult to communicate with higher management people. And this program is intended to equip you and qualify you to become a leader and a manager in such organizations. Again, it's a unique program, and it covers wide spectrum of courses, both in chemical engineering and civil engineering, along with management courses in the School of Business, one of the best schools in the world. Of course, UBC is one of the top universities in the world, so you get the best education in one of the best institutions in the world. I teach one course in this program. It's called Water Resource Systems Planning and Management. And in that course, I teach students how to go about and build decision support systems to help both workers and managers to manage the water resource problem and to solve water resource problems. And from my experience, all students who have taken the course, they managed to find good jobs in the industry, both locally and internationally. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for that overview. I thought I'd hand over to Dan. As a student coming into the program, I'd love to hear about, what brought you into the program in the first place and how you're finding the course.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Dan Xie. I came from China. However, I studied in the UK for my undergrad and my master's. And I did kind of mathematics and finance for from my background, but I worked from the World Bank for the past 8 years. And that's my first job, and I worked for project management, operations, and in both urban energy and now water sector. The reason I come here is because when I look the program, it's like Dr. Shawwash was saying, it's a combination of water treatment and water resource management. And for me, my passion is always in water resource management. I want to learn more. And when I was working in the World Bank, all my colleagues, they are really like top engineers in the world. And I feel my knowledge is kind of behind. And then, although I'm doing portfolio kind of thing, but still to understand the technical part is so important. So that's bring me to come to Vancouver and to UBC. However, also UBC is a very beautiful campus, and Vancouver is a beautiful city. So for me, it's just like after so many years working in China, I want to experience something different. So that's why I came to study this. And I have been learning a lot so far. Yeah.
Fantastic. And how are you finding the transition from a non-technical background into that technical background, into that technical course?
Actually, it's very challenging for me. And in the current MEL water management courses, we have 5 students, and they all from engineering background. So I also learned a lot from them. So before I joined here, and I also did some online courses for physical and chemistry courses just to prepare for the MEL. But still, when I start like water treatment, those kind of courses, I found it's very challenging. It's a lot of biology, chemistry, and then I haven't been learning those from high school. So it's a lot of reading and self-study. Yeah, a lot of effort. But from the water resource side, water resource management, because I work a lot with those projects on site, so I understand how and like why the dam, like all these different type of standards. So for me, those part is making better sense, and I enjoy a lot just learning more. Yeah.
Fantastic. And you mentioned that the rest of your classmates do have that engineering background.
Yeah.
Dr. Ziad, are you actually able to expand on what kind of background a typical student would have?
Well, preferably engineers with engineering background. But UBC admit people with appropriate background, like what Dan had, like in math, in physics, and chemistry. And if you have a science degree and you want to eventually become an engineer, we can put you through a program that will lead you into that degree. Of course, you have to take some core requisite courses, such as chemistry. I think you have to take some chemistry and biology sometimes. It depends on where you want to go. Okay. Some of the engineering courses, like Dan is taking a course that I'm teaching. We just finished that course, Water Resource Engineering, where we touch on design issues of water resource systems. So yeah, you can come from different background, but you have to go through some work. You have to do some work, and to bring you really up to the level of understanding of other students. Okay, so that's an important aspect, that if you come from a different background than engineering, then we look at your credentials. And I did with Dr. Baldwin. We reviewed your case and we identified a number of courses that a student must take to bring them up to the level of other students, so that the student won't struggle in taking the courses and also in their future careers.
Yes. Yeah. So would you say for students who may not have the engineering background, it's worth putting in an application and getting some guidance on where they will need to take those extra programs?
Yes, yes.
Fantastic.
Especially if they've done any work, like this program requires that you have some experience, some work experience. So if you did some work in the water sector, in any field really, in treatment or in management, then talk to us. You know? We can work out a program for you to bring you up to the level of other engineering students.
So that's the key, is having that experience within the industry.
Yes.
And I understand that's one of the prerequisite requirements for the course as well?
Yes, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I believe it is 3 years of experience within the field as one of the eligibility requirements, but as Dr. Shawwash has spoken about, please contact us if you do have any questions. We do have a question coming through on the comment line. What type of projects are students doing in this course? And this is probably, I'll pass to Dr. Shawwash first, and then we can go through to you as well, Dan.
Well, there are a number of projects that students typically do. For example, in my course, this is the Water Resource System Planning and Management. It's part of the course to do a project, a team project. So you team up with other students in the class and to do a project. You identify the project. Of course, it has to be related to the topics of the course, okay? And it carries, I think it's about 35% of the course mark.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so it's a heavy course, like heavy load. And the students would have to complete it, present it, and we mark it, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. And they also get exposed to what other students are doing in the course. Okay. This is in the IWME 505, but in other courses like the Water Resources Engineering course that I also teach, this is an undergraduate course. We also require students to do a project, okay? For instance, in that course, there's design of run-of-river projects, hydropower projects. In all other courses, also students, like in the hydrology course, in the environmental hydraulic course, and student course, you had to do a project. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, for sure. And for this term, because it's my first term, we just almost finished. So for the wastewater and water treatment courses from Dr. Baldwin, Sue Baldwin, we were designing a wastewater treatment plant. So because my interest is always in developing countries, so we actually helped China, one of the rural province, to design a wastewater treatment plant. But we are doing kind of like using not very hand tank, not very like not the membrane, but we are using kind of a lagoon kind of thing to treat the water, because in that village, they never had wastewater treatment plant in the past. So all the sewer water is going to the river. So there's a lot of pollution. So we actually try to design this project for that county, and maybe we can piloting to other counties in the future. That's our aim. But of course, in the courses, there are a lot of students, they're doing a lot of different things. For example, and they do like oil gas, and they also, but we need to apply the thing we learned from the courses, like how you do kinetics, all this kind of thing. So we learned a lot. Actually, for Sue's project, like course project, is counted like 50%. Yeah, the total, like the project itself is 40, but you do a presentation, everything is another 10. So
it's a teamwork, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of teamwork. I feel, yeah, because I studied in the UK, and I feel the system between North America and Europe is a little bit different. In the Europe, I feel it is more self-studying, but here is definitely a lot of teamwork. For all the courses we are doing, and they all have a team project, like Dr. Shawwash was saying for his 415, the water resource engineering, we are designing a run of river, so it's more like hydro kind of project. We learn a lot because you need to apply different kind of modeling thing, like red screen, so use those software to design a small run of river. For me, it's very exciting because it's kind of like the real, so it's good.
And in that course, I ask students to act as a consultant, like as a consulting team. So one of them will be working on specific aspect of the project, like the hydrology, another on the economics, another on the environmental issues, and another on the design of the facilities. So the feedback from students, they love these projects. They help them to learn how to negotiate among the team members, and also when they present the work, they learn presentation skills, and these are very valuable.
Yeah.
So as Dan said, in North America we do things a little bit differently,
Particularly when you present, it's definitely enhance your presentation skill. I think some engineers are very shy because maybe they're very technical, but they are not very good at public speaking. But here I found that you really need to present your work. If you don't explain that very clearly, or you don't present that well, it's really, you practice along the way, so you grow a lot.
So you're finding it's really assisting with real world application.
I feel it's very useful for me. Definitely. And also for other students in my courses.
But the other thing, there are a number of training activities that the MEL students go through. So we invite a number of industry speakers, for instance, and a number of trainers to help students to upgrade their presentation and communication skills. And these are very, very important in the industry. So if you go in the job market, they always look for good communication skills, good written skills, and presentation skills.
Fantastic.
Okay.
We do have a question from Angela. Do any of the projects bridge the different MEL programs? That's probably a question that I can touch on a little bit. So one of the advantages that we do have is that the leadership components of the programs across all the Masters of Engineering leadership programs do run in conjunction with one another. So you will actually be working alongside students from other programs when you are doing those projects. There are also group work presentations within those leadership courses. So that's one of the big advantages of the MEL programs. And Dan, are you able to talk a little bit about how you found the leadership units in association with the degree?
Myself, because I came from the project management background, so I done project management for my past career for my for almost 8 years. So I know that very well. But however, when I joined the project management courses in my like the MEL program, I also find that's very interesting because I came from the background, I already had experience, so it's already I know a lot of things, so I can do a lot of contribution to my classes. So in the lecture, I participate a lot. So whenever the teacher will talk about, for example, the project management, like waterfall kind of principle, I know what she talk about, then I can relate it with my work experience, and then I can apply how I can do better in the future. So I feel very useful. Also, yeah, she gave the real cases. We have a lot of case studies and do a lot of background reading. So all different scenarios definitely bring to different aspects. Yeah.
And what particularly attracted you to that combination degree of both the leadership and the technical skills? Was it the combination that was exciting?
Yeah, it's very exciting because I work for public sector, also for government a lot in China. I found like if you want to be a good engineer, of course you need to know how to deal with your clients. Maybe to deal with your clients and your stakeholder is the most important part, like how to communicate, like how you really want people understand what you are saying. So I think from these courses, you have a lot of like opportunities to communicate, like to present your result, everything. And I think for me, the technical part is challenge part because I don't have a lot background. But if you come from technical background, you can pay more attention to the business courses. You also have elective, you can learn more business modules. I think it will be very beneficial for those students to, at least if you worked before, there's a good opportunity to change your career path. And if you want to work for municipality, those kind of places, I think it's a very good opportunity. You also get to meet a lot of people from those fields, I think.
Yeah, me add that also engineers, as Dan said, they tend to be shy, they tend to be, to work in isolation. But this program was intended to train people on how other people think, like in accountants, management professionals, financiers, people in finance. So it tells them the language, they get exposed to the language that they use, and that's very important when you get to work in an organization, especially if you want to move through the ranks, to become a manager in the future. It's very important to understand how other people think, how accountants think, how people in finance think, how management think, and what are the principles. And that's the sort of school of business side of things, But it's very important to combine the both to be successful in your career in the future. Yeah.
And we know that because our students have this kind of broad understanding of the industry now, that they are going into a variety of different roles. Are you able to share where a couple of the students have gone once they've completed the degree?
Most of the students that I know of who completed this work, they are currently employed either in consulting or with the government agencies. I know one student, he just got a job with the city of Vancouver. I actually asked him back to give a talk on urban drainage.
Oh, so him, okay.
Remember Amir? Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
And he was telling me that one of the main factors that they hired him in the city of Vancouver to work as a design engineer is the fact that he had an MEL degree. So that's very good to have someone in the city of Vancouver in their design office with this background. Other students, I know of a few students who took some time off from their consulting work with the agreement with their employer that they're going to come back and continue to work for them. So most students, I think there are 3 or 4 of them, they had this arrangement. So if you have an employer, negotiate with your employer, show them the benefits, and we can help you in doing that to talk to your employer the benefits of this program and what you can do after you finish this program to that organization.
Fantastic. And I just want to kind of change track a little bit here, and this is for the benefit of our international audience. So Dan, you mentioned that you did come from China. Can you walk us through the application process and how you found the transition moving over to Canada?
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I actually found the process was quite easy because I found all the information online. And also I remember the first time I really got to know detail about this program is because they did a tour in Asia. So there are a couple of directors, they went to China and Thailand and those countries. So I got a chance to meet them in person. And I discussed with them whether my background can fit and can I try those kind of questions. And they're really encouraging. So I just took the lead from there, and I actually applied quite early. I remember if you applied before a certain time, you can also have a chance to get scholarship or something. So I applied quite early, but because my background, so I also was required to do some pre-courses in the summer. I got my final offer kind of late, but I think the whole process was quite easy because when you submit everything online, and then for the next step, you can track your record online. And if you need anything else, I think the program administrator, they will contact you. Like you probably need your kind of marks from your university when you did your undergrad or those kind of things. And transaction, because I used to live in the UK, so I don't find a big problem to live in Canada. And I find the Canadian people are very friendly and they really try to help you out. Also, a lot of Asian people here, so I feel like I'm home. Yeah. And Vancouver is a beautiful place. It's particularly in the summer, you can do a lot of things. So I think besides study, you will really enjoy the city. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a multicultural society.
Yeah, it's really multicultural. And also UBC itself is really international student base. You find all the restaurants and you can talk to anyone you want to talk in different languages, no problem. Yeah.
Following on from it, one of the common questions we do get is when are the application dates? And we do have an application date coming up soon. So our first application date, the close date is June the 1st. We do encourage students to put in their application as early as possible, just because you may have certain issues with paperwork, or you may need to find references, or you may need assistance with your letter of intent. We do have further dates later on in the year, which will be August the 1st and October the 1st, but they are the closing dates. Do make sure you get your application in well and truly before then, because as Dan highlighted, sometimes there are things that you may need an extra course, you may need to find an extra reference. Please give us the time to help you get into the course that you want to get into. One of the next questions that we do get is just regarding the GPA requirements. And do you happen to remember what the GPA requirement is? Otherwise, I do know.
I think it's 75 or 76%. Yeah, it's the courses that you have to do here. They are high-level courses, okay. And I think to do well, you have to have a good GPA, okay, at least 76%.
Yeah, and so one of the requirements is that 76%. You're exactly right. So well done. It's a lot to remember, and you've got a lot on your plate. So you've done incredibly well. But we do also have a look at your work experience and your work background.
Yeah,
so
we look at the references from work and from academia. If you did graduate studies, we also get a number of students applying with a master's degree. They want to do another master's degree to further their career in management. Yeah.
Fantastic. We do have another question. What type of funding or scholarships can international students get? And that's one that I'm actually happy to field. So what we do recommend students to look at is a lot of the scholarships that are available from private industry. So we do know that organisations are actively looking to fund students. They're looking for the best graduates. They're looking for the best employees. So do make sure you reach out to local industry, government bodies, and also local government, because that's where you're going to find the best investment for your future. I'm going to jump all the way back across to the student experience. How are you finding the workload?
Well, actually, I feel the workload is quite heavy. So particularly for my first term, just transition from another country, from work to become a student again, it's very challenging. But I actually, along the way, I found all the directors and the professors are very encouraging. So if you have problem, you can always go to talk to someone, like even our admin office and also our directors. Yeah, has been really encouraging. So they tell me what kind of thing I should read and why, like where I can find help, and the library is a lot of resources. I think for most students, they found that you cannot really do part-time job because you just focus on your work is quite a lot, is quite heavy already. But I heard in the summer, maybe there are more time. So if people want to work or get some experience, maybe you have more time in the summer.
Okay.
I think first term, now I'm finishing all my exam. I kind of used to all this, yeah, how those system works and all why we have so much homework and all this. So I hope I can do better in my second term.
And you're exactly right. It's a 1-year intensive master's degree, so you would expect the workload to be high. So are you able to just give us a snapshot into, what do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Oh, okay. And for my first term, I have 4 modules. So like I almost have lecture every day. Sometimes I don't have on Friday. And then because different courses have different kind of workload. For some courses, like you have a lot of assignment and homework. So if you don't really know those topics, you definitely need a lot more effort to do your own research and study on the course materials and check background, read papers. So I think every day you need to put some effort to study. And then I do know some students, they work also at part-time. And for those students, they can work something like related with their degree. And also that kind of helpful as well, if you can find those jobs. Yeah, I think people from different background or even different family issues, like I have a family, so I have kids. I also need to look after them and study with them. But that's consume a lot of my time. But if you just come here alone as a student, I think you probably have more time. You can better manage your own time. Yeah, in that sense.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
And just heading back to the application process, students as part of their application do have to complete a letter of intent. And do I understand it correctly that it's yourself and a number of members of the department who will review those different letters?
Yeah, the co-directors of the water resource, the integrated water resource management, we review these the applications, and we review the recommendation letters and the transcript, and we make our assessment, and we make recommendations for admission.
Yeah.
If the case, both from the English side and from the academic side, it's satisfied the requirements, the minimum requirements.
Yeah. And is there anything you're particularly looking for within the letter of intent? Are you looking for work experience or showcasing passion for the industry?
Well, the letter of intent, we look for students who are into this field of water resources, like who want to excel in both the technical side and the management side. So if they have any experience in management, if they did some work where they manage a team, and they worked actually on water-related projects, these we give them preference, okay, for these students.
Yep, fantastic.
Yeah.
And for those students who are wondering, once the close of the application date, so for example, June 1st, you should hear back regarding your acceptance or not to the program within the next month. So you would hear back by July 1st.
It's about 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah. So which is a really good note to know, so that you know that you're not hanging on waiting forever and ever. We are here, and we are here to help make informed decisions so that we can let you know as soon as possible.
And in some cases, if students would like to talk to us on Skype, or we communicate with students on such social media or on Skype, for instance. Okay.
Fantastic.
They have any questions, they can always contact the directors or the co-directors of the program. Okay.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And we were chatting earlier, and you mentioned, Dan, that you actually have done an excursion recently, and I believe it was to BC Hydro, is that correct?
Oh yeah, it's from Dr. Shawwash courses.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, it's very good. We went to BC Hydro to see the trading floor and Power X, how they really treat all the power, electricity, all those. And then we had really good presentations. So I learned a lot. And also we have a chance to see their offices, like how the trading floor, how like the back office and front office, how they looks like, and what they do like on daily basis. So it's like you have a lot of sense like how those kind of job and why they're it's good for you, so you can try. It's really nice environment though.
Yeah, and did it inspire you that like, yes, I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing?
Yeah, it's definitely something I like because my passion I always want to work for the public sectors or state-owned companies like that. And I think BC Hydro is very similar to we also have that national hydro company. So in China, it's very similar. They're doing the similar thing. Yeah. And here, I feel the working environment is more relaxed, and then the people are very friendly in the office. Yeah, so they really balance their work-life balance. They do that really well here, I think. Yeah, so it's really good.
Yeah, I know. I just like to follow up on what Dan said. Like my position at UBC is sponsored by BC Hydro, so they actually pay my salary here to work here. And in return, I do a lot of research for them. And some of the models and decision support tools that they use to make decisions on how to operate the system and how to buy and sell electricity in the market, that's the trading floor that Dan was talking about. I've developed some tools for them, and me and my students, we developed some tools for them to be able to make informed decisions that maximize the benefits to that organization.
Yeah.
And I have a number of graduate students who are working on solving different problems. I typically have 4 or 5 students working at BC Hydro. And I get my students to interact with them, like in the MEL program, and integrated water management. I bring them as speakers to tell the students about what they are doing, why they are doing it, and what the expected benefits of doing these tools.
Yeah. Okay. So would you say that your course is very much industry-led?
Oh yeah. It's on the practical side. I'm known here to be a practical side of things. Okay.
Yeah. Also, Dr. Shawwash was saying to us, if we want to apply summer jobs, we can send him CV, and he has some research opportunities.
Yeah,
working in the lab.
Research opportunities for students.
Yeah, fantastic.
Good.
We do have a question from Monsieur. Do you accept students from Royal Roads University Bachelor of Science Environmental Science program? I can jump in on that one. We definitely do accept students with that environmental science background, but the best thing you can do is put in your application, and it will be reviewed by all of the directors. And if there are any gaps with regards to eligibility, that's something that we can definitely discuss with you at a later date as well. I do want to encourage our audience, if you do have any questions, we are coming to the close of the presentation. If there are any last-minute questions you would like answered, please jump on. Don't hesitate. We will be here for a couple more minutes, but make sure you do jump on and ask those questions. While we are waiting for those couple of last-minute questions to come through, I just thought I would pass it over and just ask a little bit about within the industry where our students are finding their niche. You know, are they coming from water industry to come in and change their career? Are they looking to develop their career and advance? What's been the general student profile?
Well, we have students from all walks of life, really. And I've known a number of students who wanted to change their path, like in their career, to move from highly technical areas to more managerial aspects of work in organizations. And I think we get a good mix. So the other programs also that We have a special studio for MEL students, and they interact with all other students from different programs. And they, interacting and communicating with other students, they give you perspective, not just with faculty, but also with other students from different backgrounds. I think you establish a good network for the future, and that we find that is very helpful in promoting yourself and your career in the future. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Also in my courses, like I know a couple of them, they used to work on sites, but maybe now they want to move to municipality. So yeah, that's why they come here and they can change their career path. And also a lot of students, they will go back to their own company. So maybe then they will get a promotion or something with the MEL program. I think that's also even you're just doing the same job to go back to your company, you still learn a lot within 1 year. Just to be a student is perfect. It's a fantastic opportunity to meet a lot of students from other like department, and also get to know a lot of professors and to understand what they are doing. Yeah, I think it's really
networking is very important. And there are a number of activities that help students to network with others, with other students, and also with the industry.
Well, we do have another question from Saraba. Can a master's degree be considered instead of work experience?
Yeah, I think master degree qualify for 1 or 1.5 years, of work experience. So particularly if you did any co-op work during that time,
But we are really looking for that practical work experience in industry, aren't we?
Practical work experience, yeah. But we are open to, like myself, when I was a director, we looked at students with higher degree, like beyond the bachelor degree. And I think we accounted for about 6 months. Okay. It depends. It depends on the type of work that they do. If it's research oriented, then because most research projects you would be involved with industry, and you would communicate with industry and work closely with them. So it depends on the type of master's degree that you had. Yes.
Okay. So the answer to your question is we would definitely look at it. However, we are definitely looking for that industry relevance and that industry specific experience as well. We are at the end of our seminar today. So I really would like to take a moment to thank Dr. Ziad and Dan for your time. So thank you very much for contributing today. I know your insights have definitely educated me, and I'm sure it's definitely helped our audience out as well. As a quick reminder, if any of your questions haven't been answered, please make sure you tune back into the comment section, because we will be answering anything that we missed post the conclusion of this session. Additionally, for those who are located here in Vancouver, we will be having an open house at Robson Square. So it's happening May 10th. Come on down, come and meet the directors, come and meet some current students. Come and ask those questions that you may have been too scared to ask today. Get those answers face to face. You can find all the details online. Thank you very much for tuning in today, and we look forward to reviewing all of your applications coming in soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.